Hey, it's Luke John Harrison here. We are on Podcast with a Client, and I am here with a client of mine, Kathleen Harrison, another fella Harrison. Another fellow, no relation, which is mad.
Not that we know of.
Well, that's true. But Kathleen is a wife, mother, badass fitness enthusiast in her 50s, which is really good to see. And also you're program lead and senior lecturer in social sciences.
Yes.
And EQA at New College Durham. What's EQA?
EQA is an external quantity assessor.
Right.
So I assess academic work, for the third time, so I'm like the final bit in the line. Right. So from the marking to the second marker to the finalisation of work to be passed.
Oh, right, nice one.
Yeah.
I actually used to go to New College Durham
Did you?
for my plumbing qualification.
Yeah.
Before I became a plumber. Every Monday we used to have, for I think about 4 years, I went there. I used to really enjoy it, actually. So first things first, I've heard you've got a nickname at work.
Have, yes.
What's the nickname at work? Is it?
GC.
GC. And what does GC stand for?
Well, there's a story behind that.
I want to hear about it. Let's go.
The story, a few years ago, I was walking through the library and there was students from a school.
Right.
Like the last senior year. And one had a gas cylinder and a lighter. And she was trying to explode a computer underneath the desk.
Right.
So, looking back now, I wish I hadn't done it, but I approached her. And it all kicked off and she was just mad and she was going, it was all my fault and she had issues. And anyway, I got under full investigation for approaching this person who tried to blow up a library. Another long story of entitlement, etc., etc. But anyway, there was other students there who had to give statements, and it went into a long, drawn out with social workers and everything involved. So she was calling us an effing bitch and get away from me and, things like that. So these students come to me, we'll make a statement, we'll do this. I says, well, don't forget to put in what she was calling me and things like that. And when, is that one, she keeps calling you ginger cunt? So, I laugh about it now. It was like, well, I didn't know that.
All right, okay.
But then it came out and it went to HR and all the staff got to know about it, and I was telling them the story and whatnot, so it just stuck. So GC is
GC,
yeah.
All right, okay then. Well, I'll not call you GC. I'll call you Kathleen. Right?
But I've got the staff at work who call us GC, and they don't even know why it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not offended by it.
Well, that's good because that's your personality, isn't it? You're easygoing, and I'm the same as well.
Yeah.
I think you've got to not be a snowflake. In this generation, because there's far too much people taking things to heart, and I think we're developing as well. This is a good conversation topic to go in, because you're in TST, our training program. You have been for 10, 11 months now.
Yes, coming up a year.
Nice, amazing. And we are creating, I feel, a generation of weak people. Weak people create hard times. Strong people create good, easy times. So what's because you've talked about this quite a bit. I know we've had a little bit talking about this of people becoming weaker, choosing easy options, doing crazy things like, allowing, allowing kids weight loss injections now, stuff like that? Yeah. Like, what do you think? Why do you think that right now generations are becoming weaker and always choosing the easy route?
I think it's a combination of both on how children are brought up now and what they're expected to do and how they get mollycoddled and, even transported from A to B in cars and whatnot. But I also think society's got somewhere to blame along there, environmental issues regarding, I'll just use an example of my work about students. I get a lot of entitled students now, each year to come along, they pay $9,500 in the university centre where I work now, $9,500 per year, and they expect the qualification. Well, I pay $9,500 per year, so why haven't I got the qualification? So it's this entitlement. Nobody wants to work anymore, and nobody wants any criticism.
Very true.
To progress, you've got to have constructive criticism.
Absolutely.
And no one wants to hear that. No, I'm saying no one, obviously there are. But there's more and more people now that don't want to have any criticism.
Absolutely. Especially in a social media generation, because we all want to be liked.
Yeah.
But it's weird because the conflict comes because we all have people in our life that we say we don't like. Yeah. That we, disagree with, or we detest, or we can't stand. Yeah. Yet we want to be liked by everybody. And there's a massive conflict there. It's weird. So we do everything with a filter on. We do everything to be prim and proper and not speak up and not, people please just so we can avoid conflict, etc. And I think we are taking in a generation of, well, snowflakes,
Yeah.
of people who feel entitled. And I think sometimes people throw money at problems. We don't have to work manually for a living anymore. A lot of people
Yeah.
anyway. Some do if they're going into that manual work. But obviously, we've noticed that rates of depression and mental health have gone through the roof, as well as physical health, because of a combination of too much sitting down, sedentary jobs, and too much access to calories.
Yeah.
So I know you've been on a bit of a weight loss journey with
Yeah.
this conversation, and you joined TST about 11 months ago now. Before you joined, what was your story behind your weight and getting a handle on your health?
I thought I was relatively healthy, to be honest.
Okay.
And I didn't think I was as fat as I was.
Okay, interesting.
But I got a bit down last Christmas, and I knew I was going to do something in the new year. And I'd had bits and pieces off yourself via emails, and I must have shown some interest somewhere along the line about a year beforehand. So you kept popping up and, you know, more or less answering questions that were going around in my head at the time.
So what kind of questions were going around in your head?
Just motivation, consistency was my big issue.
Yeah.
Being consistent with everything. You know, I had a lot of motivation, but that dies off, as you know. So I was a bit down with my weight and fitness. Not so much fitness, but I mean, it took a big learning curve, and it's gone around in a big circle. So it's not so much about weight loss now, even though I know I need to lose, you know, a good extra couple of stone. So I was going to join in the new year and just decided I'll join now. So it was in between Christmas and New Year, and I joined. And I was very, very shaken up on how unfit I was. Really, really shocked. You know, as you know, you're on and off the ground a lot, and I was on the ground and I couldn't get up. Literally couldn't get up, and everybody was up again doing what they needed to do and whatnot, and I had to crawl to the wall. And it was a very, very wake-up call for me. Whether I went and never came back, or I persevered, which it was always going to be the latter. You know.
Did you have any experiences prior to that, like outside of the gym environment, where you've kind of felt embarrassed at how you were, or noticed a lack in any way physically? You know, you're saying you're struggling to get on and off the floor. Like, did you notice anything like that prior?
Well, I mostly take the lift at work.
Right.
So I've got 4 flights of stairs.
Yeah.
But everybody does.
Yes.
You know, honestly, everybody does that. It's just a norm. And they place them right near the doors when you go in at receptions, and the stairs are further on. So they're in a bad situation. But no, I mean, I stand up in front of people at work, you know, and I talk. I've never been not confident, ever.
Good.
But it was just and you do get assessed a lot when you meet new people and new students. You know, you can see that they're judging you straight away and things like that. So, but it was just the fitness I was concerned about, and my cholesterol was rising.
Interesting. So did you have to check off the doctor, or?
I did, yes.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And what was the sort of advice you were given there? Because I'm always curious to see what doctors say.
Take the tablets. Take tablets, do this, do that. You might need your blood pressure taken. That was a bit high. You need to go on blood pressure tablets. And most definitely not.
Okay, so so did you have any medication that you had to take?
I didn't take it. I didn't
Right.
get it.
Okay, so you use them all.
I mean, I'm not saying no, you shouldn't take it.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
Some people
but
need it. Definitely.
There is a scale now where you can be assessed. I think it's QR scale or something like that, where you can put all your details in of your health, and if something's not right, it still works it out of your percentage of like your risk of having a heart attack or stroke in the next 10 years. So it's a really good tool. So your blood pressure was fine. It was just that on that day it went up. You've got high cholesterol. Let's take your blood pressure. It was high. You know.
So I'm curious. Did the doctor? Because I'm always curious about this, because I've never really been to the doctor for ill health. I've been to like certain ailments and things like that I've had over the years. But I'm always curious. Did your doctor say start eating better, start exercising? Oh
No. It's all medication.
That's interesting, isn't it? I mean, some doctors will say that.
Yeah.
I believe there is good doctors out there that will give you the right advice. And obviously some people do need medication, otherwise they might die. I'm not anti-medication,
Of course,
but I'm very surprised that they don't offer that as a first choice of, what's your exercise routine like? You know, what's your diet like? Like,
I don't even think I seen a doctor. I think you just get a text. I think I got a text saying your cholesterol is this.
yeah.
You know, you need to go on statins.
Yeah.
And I got it in a text. It wasn't even a consultation.
Wow.
It was basically just a message.
Wow, it's amazing how quickly they want people on medication now. It's amazing how they wouldn't say come in for a test, but in the meantime, here's some great advice. Check your diet, check your exercise, or what's your movement like. It's incredible. So, before we start this podcast, I've been talking to your husband earlier today, and I said 2 words, just in 2 words, what would you say about Kathleen? And he said thoughtful and hardworking. That'd be the 2 words that would come to mind first off. Let's talk about hardworking. Because you are hardworking, definitely. I see that because I see you in the room 4-5 days a week, whatnot. You come training with us every morning at 6 o'clock, and you put in everything you can, even with the knee ailments that you've had a dodgy knee, etc. Before starting with TST, like before starting a regular exercise routine, how long had it been since you'd been in an exercise routine regularly?
I don't know if I've ever been in one.
Okay.
I was thinking my exercise routine was taking dogs out twice a day. But you're just strolling around and you think, well, I'm walking twice a day with the dogs. That's absolutely fine. Yeah. But it doesn't get your heart racing. Doesn't,
So it wasn't
doesn't
enough.
get you strong.
That's interesting, isn't it? So why do you think, if you, just curious, you describe yourself as a hardworking person, which you definitely are, but why do you think you'd avoided the hard work of exercise prior to joining up with TST?
I focused on my job a lot.
Right.
Education, qualifications, and it just took up all of my time.
Yeah.
And it's the worst job in the world. Just sit all of the time. And I realise now it's probably going to kill me if I don't do something about it. Yeah. Even now with TST incorporated into my work, it's still not enough. I don't think it is. So, TST has made me assess a lot of things, even career-wise. So
yeah, definitely. And I think that's, there's so many people who are like yourself, professionally driven, and they're driven by that one goal and purpose to get better at work. They're known as somebody who's confident in their abilities and their job, and they're very competent. But I see this all the time. People chasing success and accolades and money and whatnot at the expense of their health. And would you probably group yourself into that?
Yes, definitely. Yes, you want more money. If you want to put more work into work, you want more money for it.
Yeah, but isn't it funny how we neglect the one thing that's actually going to be the driving force towards getting us more success, which is health and energy.
I'm 50 odd now, and it's just like a light bulb moment in my head that this is what I need to do.
Yeah, so tell me about your biggest results since starting a full training schedule with TST myself 11, 12 months ago. What would you say has been, over that time period, the top 3 things that you've noticed in terms of your results?
Joining, my main focus was weight loss, but it's not now, so that's not one of the main 3 things, which it's a bonus. I think the top 3 aspects of TST is the sense of belonging to a group, where we all support each other, that's what's driven me for a full year now to come here. Feeling stronger is a really good feeling, really, really good. And just feeling better, feeling better, and not just physically but mentally too. I feel like if I'm in control of something, I feel a lot better in myself as well. When I feel it's slipping away and I'm not doing anything, I don't like it at all.
Yes, and that's the downfall of most people. They just lose control of their eating habits, their smoking, their drinking, whatever it is, like the habits that just creep in there. So I'm curious what you said just before. You initially started a health and fitness journey to lose weight. Then you quickly sort of realised that's just a bonus and side effect now. What changed your mind on that?
I think the initial part was just come and lose weight. And then I realised it wasn't all about that. It was all about consistency, being fit, being with a group of people, like-minded people who support each other, and that good feeling of belonging to a good social group as it is. And just having weight loss is an absolute bonus at the end of the day. I mean, I'm glad. I wanted to lose weight too. Yeah. I remember when I joined, and you were saying, what do you want to do? I want to lose weight. What else do you want to do? I don't know. I just want to lose weight.
So it's just narrow focus, isn't it?
Yeah, I still need to lose weight. I mean, it is really, really important. And I lost my way a little bit last year with a knee operation and then Christmas, and put 10 pounds on, which was, really, I wasn't very happy with that. But coming back, it's a consistency. isn't it?
And
That's the key.
How much weight have you lost since you joined?
I've lost about 1.5 stone.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you can tell that. You can tell that in your face. You can tell that in your body. And especially you can tell that in the way you move.
Right.
As well, you're a lot faster than when you started. Like, I noticed this in a lot of people.
And get her off of the floor.
Yeah, exactly. A lot.
Yeah.
But so what advice would you give to somebody that has been struggling, maybe like yourself, with, you know, that career focused, that driven, but they know they need to lose weight, and all they keep saying is, I really need to lose weight. I should lose some weight. If you were having a conversation with another woman on losing weight, and that's all that kept telling you, Kathleen, I really need to lose weight. Kathleen, you know what? I've really got to get this weight off. Yeah. What would you say to them? Like, knowing what you know now, what would you say to them?
Well, I have said it to a lot of people, you know, and the excuses are the same excuses I used to give. Haven't got time. I'm tired. I'm embarrassed. You know, all this going on. And it's basically, the advice I would give is that you need to put them thoughts aside, because they're just excuses. They're basically just excuses. Just give it a go. You know, a trial. Just give it a go and see how it goes. Giving them examples on why they should do that. I mean, I'm researching now on Alzheimer's. You know, it's a little bit of research I'm doing, and how diet and exercise combats that and reduces it significantly. And, you know, there's 1 in 100 people now from the ages of 60 to 62 have got dementia. And it's all to do, you know, the research now, and there is a massive factor there. It's got to do with your diet and your exercise. So if you can't do it for things like that, you know, what can you do it for?
Exactly. But I think as well, like, a lot of people think about this in their 50s and 60s and beyond. They don't tend to think about it a little bit earlier when they really should. But I get, there's never really an age limit. I think people take up mountain walks and weightlifting in their 80s, and I'm running marathons, which I think is fantastic. But it's harder the longer you leave it, right? It's harder the longer you leave it. And we always have this robust mentality of, it'll never happen to me. My granddad smoked and drank till he was 98 and he never got cancer. That 1 in 10 million people that just had that. But years ago, people were generally quite a bit healthier because they had active jobs. They didn't have access to as much processed food. You know, they lived less stressed lives. They had less technology and they were more rested. So there's a lot to say for that. But at the same time, I think I read the other day that in the UK, every 3 minutes, so by the time we've had this conversation, there would have been a massive handful of people die from cardiovascular disease. In the USA, I think it said 1 every 3 seconds, which is nuts. And just like you've been saying there, like, majority of Alzheimer's, dementia, you know, even cardiovascular disease, cancer, probably over 50% of them can be prevented from good diet and exercise. It's amazing what benefits it brings. But I feel, because I've been in the industry 12, 13 years now, it's a hard sell. Right. Even to get somebody to do it for free. Because at the end of the day, diet and exercise is free, isn't it? You can go out and do the fresh air, go for a run. You can literally do press-ups in your kitchen. But people don't want to do it because it's hard.
Yeah, I've got a free gym at work.
Exactly, but you don't use it.
No.
Because it's free. You don't. I'm a firm believer in you pay attention to what you pay for. I think that's true in life, definitely. And if you pay more, you pay more attention. Usually the case for most people. But it's a hard sell to sell someone on hard work. Now, being a hard-working woman, you're aware that hard work brings results. You are probably brought up that way with a hard-working family and inspiration for in a good way. And mine was the same. My dad was a firefighter. My mum was a hard-working charity worker. Hard work brings results. But reverting back to the initial conversation, we don't necessarily have to work hard for a result right now. We've got the Amazon one-clicks. We've got the Uber Eats. We've got everything at the click of a button right now, which is causing us to be so hooked on immediate gratification that we struggle to have that patience for a result. So what have been some of your strategies and your sort of mindsets, because you've been with me nearly a year now, and let's be honest, most people who start an exercise routine, go to the gym, start running, will not stick with it for longer than a couple of months. Very rare. They'll go for it, like, you know, they'll do it to get in shape for the holiday, to lose a stone, or they'll go in January to lose the Christmas weight. So what's been your strategy for thinking a bit longer term, for thinking, you know what, this is more of a lifestyle now rather than something, because initially it was weight loss, and this is most people's problems, as we know, is if it's just weight loss, you'll lose the weight, but then what? Then you'll stop, go balloon back up, come back again, yo-yo diet, back and forward, back and forward. So I know that you've got the mentality, because we've had conversations about this, and I can tell you change now to longer term thinking. So I've went on a little bit there, but as a long-term approach, what's been your strategies towards changing your mindset towards long-term health?
It's just basically thinking of it as a long-term thing. I want to do it until, well, I die. I've got lots of things I want to do in life, and I'll not be able to do them if I carried on with the lifestyle I had before. You know, I've had a knee operation. That wouldn't have been done if I hadn't come to TST. That was lingering on for years and years before I come to TST. There's other things I'm assessing now regarding health that I've, you know, put in motion. But the strategy that I would put in place is just be consistent. Look at it on a bigger research the benefits. You know, not just it makes you look good. You can get down from a size 16 to a 10. You can do this, you can do that. You know, get your head screwed on properly and research what the benefits of diet and exercise, particularly exercise, you know. And it's literally, we're killing people now in society because of the way we live. Not just physically, but the mental health and, you know, the overload of diagnosis of OCD, ADHD. And I'm not saying that that's not genuinely, you know, a case, because it definitely is. You know, I've suffered with depression, you know, and I had a family member, my father died, so I know exactly what it's like.
Yeah.
But it's you know, dopamine now is just getting to a level that's so high because of, you know, synthetic things like social media, processed food and things like that, lack of exercise.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
the government should be promoting this, you know.
Yes, but there's a bit of a conspiracy behind it, but really there's not much money in health. There's far more money in sickness, right? That's why the pharmaceutical companies are the richest in the entire world by 100,000 timefold. They will always outdo. If you know a patient cured is a customer lost, they say. That's true in pharmaceuticals. Someone gets healthy, then they're not going to buy their processed food anymore. They're not going to buy their medication anymore. They're not going to buy their distraction things anymore because they're going to be focused on a better life. So it's never going to be actively pushed as much as we want it. But there is a shift coming. I feel there's this people, because we're overloading the NHS, because we're overloading the healthcare system worldwide, people are starting to think, well, we need to make at least somewhat of a change. But it just goes to show that there is definitely more money in sickness, and we'll never get that full push. It's a hard thing, but people are changing their ways towards that, I feel, in a lot of ways. But one of the best fixes that we can get of natural chemicals and adrenaline is exercise, right? Yeah. But we can't get it immediately. We'll have to push through this horrible hour of discomfort and sweat, and I can't be bothered, and I feel stupid, and it's awkward, and it's uncomfortable, and I feel weak, and I'm not as good as him and her, and I'm being judged and criticised, and we'll have all these negative emotions be attached to this exercise. I think I said this morning, and you I think you probably maybe felt this way years ago. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel most people view exercise as a punishment, not a celebration. And years ago, I've noticed that even myself was like, oh, I've drank too much. I must punish myself in the gym to burn it off. Not rather than, you know, live the way of celebrating what my body can do. And then I'll be far more inclined to want to do it rather than have to do it. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I just want a quick fix as well. You know, thinking it's going to be a quick fix. A few months at the gym and then, you know, being what you want to be, it just doesn't work like that. Yeah. You know, I'm researching a lot at the minute on environmental psychology as well. Why we do what we should be doing now to what we did, you know, well, years ago. I don't like to say the caveman era, but that sort of. And it's amazing the correlations that we should be doing.
This is really interesting. So what's your biggest insight so far from looking into that stuff, into that research?
From an exercise point of view, I would say it's the dopamine levels. Yes. Because exercise does release dopamine levels. Absolutely. But not as high as like drugs or alcohol. Yes. Yeah. And they just spiral out of control. Absolutely. And that's when we come down on a downer. But we are supposed to exercise. I mean, we've got legs, 2/3 of our body, you know, we've got to use them. So, yes, there's a lot of correlation between what we should be. We need to think about what we should be doing. We're still animals.
Yes, absolutely.
And to be fit and mentally fit and physically fit, we should look at what we are meant for. Yeah. Because we haven't changed that much. You know, the structure might have changed a little bit with eating habits and, you know, the size of our jaw, etc., for example. But more or less, we're just the same.
The dopamine levels is an interesting thing because, like you say, like obviously you open your phone and you get a dopamine hit immediately, and you get it 5,000 times a day. And obviously, drugs and alcohol can give you it immediately with no effort, and that's why I used to drink. That's why I used to sniff cocaine, because it was instant hit, and it felt fucking amazing on a Saturday night. Sunday, Monday, depressed for days. It's too high.
Yeah.
It's going too high. So exercise will never bring you up that much. But I've said to people now, since it's been 6 years since I've had a drink, and 9 years since I've had cocaine, exercise is my drug of choice now. And I don't abuse it, but I use it as much as I can because it gives me a thrill and a hit. We all, if we decide to give up something like sugar, alcohol, drugs, etc., we need something to replace that feeling, don't we? It's why when a lot of people stop drinking, they feel empty and low because they don't replace the feeling with anything. That's why they turn to food, or they turn to something else to fill that void. So I'm curious. I've got a few questions here for you. Kind of, we might be able to elaborate on these, but they might just be as quick fire questions. When you think of the word successful, who comes to mind and why?
Me or anybody I know, or just
whoever. Somebody you know, could be celebrity, could be family member. Like, who comes to mind and why?
Lots of people come to mind for success in different reasons. Okay. The first one is my daughter, Flora, and she's successful in a lot of ways. Not only has she accomplished, qualifications and whatnot, and she's bilingual and but her most success for me, she's a nice person.
Yes.
She's a nice person. She's hardworking too. She's coming tonight.
Yes, she's coming to work hard tonight because she missed this morning. Yes, good. She's just an all-round nice person. I agree.
And it's not just because she's my daughter.
Yes.
And I feel like she's successful in that area. She's very sociable. She can go off on an aeroplane and meet new people, just going off on her own and that. And, that's because she's friendly.
Absolutely.
So I feel like she's successful in that area. Definitely.
Amazing. And what are the things that you believe that other people think are insane?
Well, I'm a huge animal lover, and if they're not an animal lover, they don't understand.
That's true.
Yep. I mean, I went shopping with Flora last week in Newcastle, and we had to come back early because I found a pigeon.
All right.
Yeah, so I had to come back with this pigeon. It was in foot asylum, and they were chucking it out. So I says, we just had to come back home. So we brought the pigeon back home.
All right, what happened with the pigeon?
Well, we took it to an animal sanctuary, Paused for Thought in Sunderland on the night time. Having 3 cats in the house, Even though I locked it in a cupboard, but the cats knew it was there,
absolutely.
So I rang them, took it up. I mean, they're an amazing charity, I went up. They put it in an incubator. They said it was very thin and bruised and whatnot. It didn't survive. But they said it wouldn't have survived at all. It would have had a chance, So people think that might be nuts.
Yeah. I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm totally in agreement with that. Yeah. And animal lovers don't get it.
Yeah.
Like it's part of the family. Any animal, it's very much exactly like a human. Yeah, completely. I totally get that. So, next question. What's your favourite documentary or movie?
Documentary. I've got lots of movies. Lots and lots of movies. I was asked this the other day as well. I just couldn't think of one. For humour, I like Overboard. It's an old movie.
Who's in that?
Goldie Hawn.
Oh, right, yeah, okay.
A Partner. I like that one. Godfather.
Godfather. I don't get the hype with that. I think it's well acted, but I don't quite feel the same as I do with like Goodfellas or Casino or some of them real.
I like all them too.
Yeah.
But I like Godfather movies.
What about documentaries? What documentaries have had a big impact on you that you can think of?
It's probably mostly real life documentaries, mostly on fitness. Go Vegan. I don't think it was called Go Vegan. It was something that changed my life a lot.
Oh, really?
Watching something when they looked at veganism and meat eaters in America. That so mostly the documentaries are real life documentaries on like changing your life and fitness and slimming. Like Flora come downstairs and I'm watching something like my 600-pound life or something.
Yeah.
Makes us feel a bit better, no. But it's amazing. I'm just amazed how people get to this stage, and what the solution is.
Yeah.
But yeah, real life documentaries.
What's amazing with documentaries like that on the large side of things is what the human body's capable of. Like to get to some of the sizes they can and still survive and lose the weight and thrive at the end of it is incredible what it can put up with.
Yeah.
Not obviously that somebody should let themselves get that way, of course.
Yeah.
But it's amazing what the human body can put up with. And I think that coincides a lot with what we've been talking about. Like our body can put up with a battering day after day, week after week, month, even year after year until it can't.
Yeah.
But we just look at, I'm resilient, I'm robust, I'll deal with it when it happens, I'll never get cancer, I'll never get diabetes, me granddad lived till such and such. Like, the body can put up with a lot, right? And that's obviously a misconception for a lot of people, is that they might not be so lucky. But it's difficult to change that narrative, isn't it?
And I'm watching a documentary and reading something at the same time on fasting.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said for that, you know. A lot to be said. Well, actually, some of my goals for this year, one of which was to do 12 24-hour fasts. I've done it once before and I felt great. Just literally water for 24 hours. It's mad that seems so little, but actually very difficult to do when you're used to eating 3 balanced meals a day and a couple of snacks and whatnot. Really hard. What's been your fascinating insight on fasting?
Goes back to evolutionary times where we would have naturally did that. You know, our bodies are equipped to fast.
Absolutely.
We couldn't have survived on 3 meals a day because we wouldn't have had 3 meals a day.
Yeah.
You know, so I've had 1 meal a day now for coming up to the 3rd week, and it's great at work. I'm not any less tired. You know, I don't have that slump in the afternoon after I've had lunch and things like that. So I'm focusing on that. So that's a really good move. But I think our bodies are equipped to fast. Fasting, and it's not so much our weight loss. It's to do with replenishing our cells.
Yeah. But doesn't it take 24 hours for the gut to heal properly without any food in it?
It depends on the person. It can take longer.
Depends on the severity of...
It's autophagy, I think it's called. Yeah. And it's when cells start eating themselves again.
Yeah.
And it's the benefits are just tenfold.
I know, really, and a lot of people are interested in a lot of these things and it's almost like this fasting's a revolutionary thing. Yeah. Like it's a buzzword, and people are talking about fasting plans and detoxes, and I'm like, you're absolutely right. People did this thousands of years ago. Like that's what they did, because you had feast to famine. You had a big meal and you indulged, and then you might not have ate for 2 or 3 days. Yeah. You didn't have access to umpteen amounts of food, and you don't get ill and unhealthy from lack of food. You get ill and unhealthy from too much food, right? I'm curious to talk a little bit more about your fasting experience, because I imagine when you were 2 stone heavier than what you are now, and before you joined TST and you had your good morning routine in place and your regular exercise routine, I imagine that your eating was quite sporadic during the day.
It was, yes. So,
were you a grazer? Were you a snacker? Did you have 2 large meals, or did you have a big meal on a night and snack during the day? Like, how was your routine then compared to what's like now?
Never had a breakfast.
Okay.
I thought it was fasting then.
Well, you kind of are.
Good a couple hours, you know.
Yeah.
Dinner time, I would take a lunch in, and and then a night time would just be horrendous.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not naturally a snacker as such. Well, I was over Christmas and that, but it's just huge meals. Yeah. Portion size just totally out of control. Healthy food, you know, it was great. You know, I was eating everything healthily. But it wasn't healthy because it was just too much of it.
Just too much of it, yeah. You can still get fat eating healthy food. Yeah. People forget this. Oh, well, I'm eating better. Yeah, but how much are you eating?
I ate loads of fruit. You know, at work, I was having apples and oranges, and I used to stay away from the bananas because I thought they were full of sugar. You know, grapes. Another apple, another orange, bag full of carrots, you know, and I just thought, whoever got fat on apples, you know, but... It all added up. You know, the sugar was extremely high.
Absolutely, absolutely. So how has that changed now in terms of handling it? How did you make that transition from, you know, eating from, say, 11 o'clock in the morning all the way through 9 o'clock at night to now just eating 1 meal? Is it just at night time that you have the meal?
Yeah.
Yeah? And what time do you eat?
About 6, 7.
So when you have that meal, how's your mindset sort of adapted to that and changed to that?
I mean, I think about food all the time.
Yeah.
Throughout the day.
So does everyone else.
And I think about it whether I'm eating it or not. You know, so it doesn't make any difference.
Yeah.
Not eating through the day has made no difference to me. I just feel more awake at work.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I get tired, but that's, you know, I would have got tired anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just so look forward to that meal.
Yes.
Because I know it's going to come.
Yes.
You know, and I really need to get a handle on my diet again because I work too bloody hard at TST. For, you know, when I go to TST and then I go to work and I'm really hungry, it's somebody's birthday and they're having a bit of cake, do you want some? If I hadn't came here in the morning or I wasn't here, I know for a fact I would have ate that.
Yes.
You know?
So
it all goes hand in hand.
Yeah,
you know?
so you make better choices as a result
Yes,
of the
of
good
course.
choices you've done in the
Yeah.
morning. Exercise leads to a whole host of positive choices afterwards, doesn't it? It's when you avoid it that leads to the worst choices, right? Absolutely. I love that. I think fasting is such it's not very understood by a lot of people that just think you're starving yourself, but actually you are replenishing your gut. You're also hitting pause and allowing yourself to give yourself a bit of discipline. I think it's a mental challenge as well to say, no, I'm not going to eat that. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But everyone, your mum, your nana, everyone will be pulling you sideways to just eat a bit, just have one biscuit, all this. But I think that's it. There's a lot of pride and dignity and confidence and self-respect in saying, no, I'm restraining myself because it's for a greater good.
Yeah.
And I've done it on and off little bits here and there, like I say, fasting. But I've noticed when I've done it, the energy levels have been great, increased because you're not having those blood sugar highs and lows, right? So would you say your energy's massively improved since only eating that one meal a day?
Without a doubt, yeah. And I'm more alert at work.
Yeah.
You know, even at work, if I had a little bit of plant-based yogurt and whatnot and a bit of fruit inside, like berries, I still had that slump. On the afternoon, I still had that tiredness and I hated it. I hated it. And I like to feel empty.
Yes. There's a nice feeling about that because you appreciate your food more as well.
I love eating. I love eating, but I love this feeling of feeling
clean,
empty.
isn't it? And it's clean. I like it as well. And there's nothing worse than feeling bloated. Feeling full is quite nice, but bloated is awful. And we're all capable of feeling bloated because as soon as we get a little taste for something that's too nice, that's it. It's, fuck it, switch. It happens,
And the more I feel like if I eat something, I'm hungry more when I've ate it than I was before I started eating it.
Yeah.
Because it seems to, increase the appetite. So I'm best just not having anything until that one meal. I don't know how long it'll last. But if it goes the way it's going now, I mean,
if it's working,
it's a life.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people. I know some people who are in great shape who do it, like athletic, who just eat one meal a day. It's something that I kind of am veering towards myself. I just haven't quite got the courage up to do it yet. But it's something that I'm looking into, and I do find really quite fascinating. So if you were asked to do a TED talk, Kathleen,
What? Sorry.
A TED talk.
A TED talk.
Yeah, so like a 20-minute speech on an area of expertise. Let's say it was an area of expertise that you weren't too familiar with. This is just a random question. What do you think you'd love to do a talk on?
Me talking about it, or just talking about what I'm not familiar with.
Yeah.
It would have to be something to do with a part of sociology that I'm not, maybe how people live in another country what I'm not aware of. I'm really, really interested in social sciences.
Yeah.
When I went to uni, I didn't really know what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And then when I hit social science, I thought, this is for me. How we interact is everything, So I would like to do a TED talk maybe on some sort of social science that I haven't looked upon so much, whether it's sociology or some sort of psychology, maybe in another country on how they live, why do people live longer in some countries and not others?
There's apparently a really interesting documentary on Netflix. I haven't watched it, called Don't Die.
Right.
It's supposed to be this guy who wants to outlive his kids and
I think I've listened to his
about
podcast.
150 or something.
Yeah,
apparently it's excellent. I haven't seen it, but very intrigued, and it's in the watch list. So we'll see on that one once we're
I'm
reserved.
sure he fasts.
Probably most likely. The weird thing is, I saw a little clip of it, and he looks the same age as his son. He's like 50. His son's like 25 or something, and he looks exactly the same. It's frightening.
I'm sure there's been a podcast about him on Bartlett.
Probably, yeah. Do you have a quote that you live by or think of often?
You reap your rewards. What you do in life, you reap how hard you work.
Yeah.
But I've come to think about that differently over the last few years.
Okay.
Working hard is not the answer to everything. You've got
Yes.
to work hard in the right areas.
Exactly. Perfect that.
Yeah.
Because we're in this, I was just listening to a training about this earlier, actually, because energy is one of the most important things we can protect. People don't realise that. So the work hard, hustle hard, sleep when I'm dead community is fucked, basically. And we are working longer, harder, and our superiors and people ahead of us and our companies and things expect more of us because we live in a 24-hour culture now, 365, where nothing stops. We have the internet. We are expected to just be on call, and so people now are more exhausted, out of shape, tired, unfocused, and thinking that success and drive is all that you have to do and work hard. And it's not about working hard. It's working, like you said, working hard in the right areas, being balanced with it. I love that. Cause
be mindful of where you're working hard.
Exactly.
I used to say you reap what you sow, which you do. You know, that's a saying I used to say a lot of. You reap what you sow. Just do the work.
Yeah.
That's what I say to students.
Yeah.
Just do the work.
But if you're working hard in the wrong areas, you go in the wrong direction, right?
Exactly.
I love it. I'll tell you what, here's a good question. What's the worst advice you've seen being projected into the world? Maybe recently or old bit of advice.
You need to slow down. You're getting older.
Yes.
Honestly.
I love that.
It's like, what? And it's such a big saying, isn't it? You know, all the sayings I think about when I was young, or family members and people older than me. Oh, I bet you can't wait to have your first drink. When you're 21, I bet you can't wait. No, I was in a nightclub when I was 14, so it didn't make any difference. I bet you can't wait to do this. I bet you can't wait. And everything was geared up to being old enough to drink, to go out, to do that. And then you get to a certain age, and then it's like, are you not getting married? It's like, are you not having children? Are you not doing this? Are you not doing that? And society puts a lot of pressure on you, doesn't it? And
Absolutely.
they've got a lot of things that you feel like you need to do, what you're conditioned to do.
Yeah.
And then as you get older, people tell you to slow down, where you need to speed up then, because you're getting weaker in certain parts, aren't you? I mean, I feel a lot weaker now I feel a lot stronger now than I ever have. But without the exercise, you know, I could feel my body just getting weaker naturally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're 56 now?
Yes.
Is it? Yeah. So would you say that now at 56 you've got more energy than you had at 46?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Would you say that you're more proud of your body now than what you were at 46?
Yeah.
Amazing. So that's the idea of the bad advice of slow down. Now, slow down might be relevant to some people who are burning the candle at both ends, but not slowing down in certain areas, speed up in areas. But there is no reason, and I believe, obviously, I know we're different ages. However, I'll be 40 next year, and I am obviously starting to think about the future a lot more consciously than what I did 10 years ago. Obviously, massively, like every 10 years, you're going to have that big thing, and it'll be very different at 50 and beyond. But long term, I want to speed up. Because I want to get better.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big problem is people think it's you know, and you get this probably a lot from friends and family and things like that, when they say slow down, they're basically saying life's on a decline from now then.
Yeah.
Like, slow down. Well, why do you want it to happen that way? It's not to say you have to go a million mile an hour to everywhere, but surely you want to speed up in the areas that matter and work hard at the areas that matter most. It's mad, isn't it? It's mad how
I was talking to a neighbour the other day, and lots of people have got dogs where we live, and our dogs are old now, and she was saying, I don't know whether to get another dog or not. She's like, do I want to be walking around the park at 70? So she's now got this thought in her mind when she's 70 that she's not going to walk around the park. So what's she going to do? Just, you know.
Yeah, there are people starting marathons.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's absolutely mad.
Yeah.
I've had the advice, you're obsessed with TST, you're obsessed. It's like,
I love that, because I'm like, yes, I'm making them committed.
You know, when I go out with my brother, Karen's husband, you know, he'll go, here we go again. You know, and he'll do this. Because and he doesn't know, but it's,
I love that you're obsessed line that you get from people when you're really into something. Because I feel obsession is just a word that the uninspired use to describe what they don't understand. I feel that's just like, well,
I feel like I am a little bit obsessed.
And that's good though, but you're obsessed at a good thing.
Yeah.
Like whatever, if it's a healthy habit or a healthy hobby that makes you feel good and benefits everyone else, why shouldn't you be obsessed?
It is a big part of my life now.
Exactly.
You know, and I can share it with Simon and Flora in the house. If they didn't go, they'd probably think, I would be boring them to tears, you know, but
I get it.
we've got it, we can share the conversation now.
But it's good that you have that obsession though, because if you want to call it, I mean, that's another person's label, but the fact is you can be proud of your obsessions if they're healthy enough. Yeah. And at the end of the day, some people, in fact, I'd probably hazard to guess say most people are not obsessed about anything. Yeah. They're not obsessed about anything. They're just waiting to slow down, waiting for retirement, waiting to die, not excited to live. Like,
I know I see people who I've gone to school with, and I think, dear me, you know, am I that disillusioned? I mean, I don't think I look, you know, I'm not thinking I look any younger, but they just look so unhealthy.
Yes. Yeah.
So unhealthy, you know.
I know.
It's just mad.
See even that I'm 39 now, and I see people that I went to school with, and that they're looking 10, 15 years older than me, and like life's just declining. And obviously I don't know what's happening to them. I can't be judgmental in thinking that, but at the same time, the majority of people just stop working on themselves. They just stop, you know, getting excited about their future. They just stop doing the hard things toward the positive stuff. So, last question, Kathleen, because this has been an amazing chat here. If you had a billboard, what would you have displayed on it? If it was displayed around the UK and millions of people would see it, what would you have on it?
Be compassionate and kind. And I think the world lacks it.
Oh,
big time.
100%. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think it's what makes the world go round, but we're just not practicing anymore.
Everyone's doing their best, but most people just won't see it that way.
No.
Point the finger, forget the three that are pointing back at them. Lack of responsibility, innit? Yeah. And what if it wasn't for him and and this, that and the other?
Yeah, we're all guilty of that.
Of course we are.
To a degree.
Of course we
you know,
are.
people are born, some people are born into money, you know, they've never had to... you know, have any hardship which I think is not a bonus really in some aspects.
It's very hard, even harder sometimes. Yeah. Even harder because you don't learn the life lessons, the principles of hard work, and appreciating what you have and having nothing as well, understanding having nothing and how that can actually give you grit and determination.
And going, you know, and having lots of people from social levels in life who I've worked with, you know, especially when I went to Durham Uni. There's people who've got no idea of hardship, anything like that. But then they're not the snobs I've ever come across in my life. I've been working class. Yeah. Who have been snobs. Yeah. But yeah, you know, when I always think when Caroline Flack died, the world, you know, everybody had a sweatshirt on, you know, be kind, be considerate, and then COVID hit, and everybody took everything off the shelves for themselves, you know. And I think that contrast between the two was a big eye-opener for society, because everybody seems to be out for themselves when it matters. I suppose it's only in human nature that happens. But I don't think you prosper from it.
No, absolutely
you
not.
You don't prosper at all.
No, people just obsess over themselves.
Yeah.
And that's normal human nature, but when we bring other people into it, we are more compassionate.
And we need other people.
Yeah, of course we do.
We need them.
Yeah, life's not a solo journey at all. It's a team sport.
Yeah.
Life is a team sport, no matter how I want to look at it. Lone wolf starves. Fuck everyone, fuck the world attitude does not work. I'll do it on my own, doesn't work. I think one of the quotes that I would probably have if I had to finish this conversation off, I really love, and this is not my quote, and you would have heard it before, and you've heard me say it, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And most people just want to go fast. Yeah. But they burn out, they get sick, they stop and start, their mental health and emotions are all over the place. Like, I want to be with the people who want to go far. Yeah. Who want to go far for a long time. Who want to go further than thought possible. It might take a bit longer, but who want to keep up, not catch up all the time. Or I guess another way to phrase that would be, it's easier to keep up than catch up.
Yeah. I read something the other day I've just thought about as well, about having two lives. And your second one begins when you realise you've only got one.
Yes.
It's really, really good.
That's a cool quote, yeah.
That's really good,
that, yeah. That's, you know, I've heard that a few times actually, that quote. And often people will roll their eyes at these and think, I've heard that before, I know I should, all that. But it's often the cliches in life which are the truest. The things that we roll our eyes at, but it takes 40 to 50 years to go, fuck me.
Yeah.
It's right.
Mm-hmm.
And they've probably been saying them for thousands of years. People have probably said them in the streets back in the 1700s. Wise men have probably shouted that from their camels in 1600s in Saudi Arabia. Like, literally, that's probably how far back it goes.
Yeah.
But yet, we still roll our eyes, and it takes us till we're in our 40s, 50s, 60s to go, there's something in that.
Yeah. And it soon catches up on your age.
Definitely.
Can't
I'm starting to
believe
notice that now. The weeks are like months, and the months are like years, like going like that. Really fast, really fast. Hey, Kathleen, this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming in. I think we've given a lot of value to people. I think we've opened up some great conversations, and I just want to say thank you very much.
Thanks for asking me.
You're welcome.
Pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you.